So I was right about Doris Fletcher being related to Harriet Jones. I was correct. Which I'm glad about. There's nothing here. Okay.
Turn around, sir.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Listen.
Kill you!
William Marshall's memoirs. The Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stove finally agreed to meet me in London. They proposed to meet inside the new Cathedral of St. Paul. I like the wit and solemnity of this man. What a symbol, to choose the place where I defeated this disaster, but also the place where I fell. I agreed to their proposition. There, in the sacred silence of the church and under the eye of God, they respectfully listened to me. They acknowledged my victory against the evil creature, the Dus Astro, the eater of stars, who only wished to spread death and pestilence all around her. Since they acknowledged my will to save London in 1666, they heard my request, my burning desire to stop the blood of hate. Their primate promised to come back to me with an answer. The primate of St. Paul wrote back to me with just a name, the Tear of Angels. According to him, this ancient artifact could heal anything, cleanse any blackened soul, and purify my blood. Blessed be the Lord, it took me more than 100 years to find a cure for the blood of hate. But I may have finally found it. Soon the rage shall end. Soon I may repair the wrong I did and cleanse my failures. Now all I need to do is retrieve the necessary ingredients to create the artifact. Blood of the purest heart mixed with blood of a king. To find such rare ingredients is not what worries me the most, for time is on my side. It's the last part that worries me, the pure essence of garlic. I'm afraid it will literally hurt like hell when I drink the antidote. But if that's the price to pay, I cleanse my soul and correct my mistakes. I'm ready to endure this excruciating pain.
Blood of a pure heart, garlic, blood of a king. I don't understand.
Evidence safe. Until further notice, the safe will be used to store surveillance-sensitive evidences. It must always be locked. If you need to access it, just find me on the last floor to get the key. And bloody remember to bring it back to me when you're done.
I should find the key to that box.
Ah. Oh, what is this? Vampire Night. I'm not going to read anything until I get this thing back, so I'm not going to read that. So, on the last floor, does that mean highest floor? I don't know what that means. Maybe it does. What does that mean? Find the safe's key. He says last floor, but I don't know what that means.
Edgar. Edgar, can you hear me?
Jonathan, is it really you?
Easy. Easy. Save your strength. I'm getting you out of here.
Don't try to spare me. As a physician, I know all too well when it's too late. Punctured lung, broken ribs, and internal bleeding. An accurate diagnosis, wouldn't you say?
Edgar, what happened?
They wanted me to confess. Beat me black and blue.
Geoffrey McCullum ambushed me at the Pembroke Hospital. He was convinced you and I were responsible for the Skal epidemic.
I never imagined that self-righteous fanatic would dare to attack us in the open. What became of him?
To prove him wrong, I let him go.
Really? Are you sure that was the wisest course of action?
Time will tell. The most intriguing part of his accusation was that you and I were the pawns of some ancient vampire.
William Marshall. Yes, they tortured me to make me confess the same nonsense.
I trust you, Edgar, but the Guard of Priwen is onto something.
What do you mean?
William Marshall, for example. You speak of him as if you know him. How is that?
Jonathan, I cannot say I'm ready for another round of questions.
Why would the Guard of Priwen believe you and I created the vampire epidemic?
Maybe due to our profession. Because I offered you shelter in my hospital.
What can you tell me about William Marshall?
I'm starting to think this William Marshall
Not
might be the
much.
maker of our dude here.
History paints the story he was the greatest knight who ever lived. Amongst the immortals, he had a yet greater legend.
Why is the Guard of Priwen so obsessed with him?
He was the only ancient vampire to escape the first great hunt launched by the Guard of Priwen in 1854. They believe he's an evil creature plotting his return.
Why would he deserve such a reputation?
I cannot say. The Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole has next to no intelligence on him. All I know is that he's supposed to be the oldest of all the British vampires.
While investigating the epidemic, I read some of McCullum's findings. I think you have some explaining to do.
I have nothing to hide, Jonathan. Nothing at all.
Do you know Doris Fletcher's real name?
No, I'm afraid not.
Her real name was Doris Jones. She was the daughter of Harriet Jones.
What do you want me to say, Jonathan?
Do you remember when we suspected Sean Hampton of killing Harriet Jones?
Yes. A terrible episode that came as a shock to us all.
Harriet Jones faked her own death. When I found her in the sewers, she confessed she wanted everybody to pay for what happened to her.
That woman was extremely bitter, full of hatred and festering anger.
Doris Fletcher visited her mother at the Pembroke Hospital. That's how she first got infected.
I know nothing about that. Miss Fletcher once came to visit the sick. That is all I know.
No, Edgar, there is more. Doris Fletcher was Harriet Jones's daughter. They exhibited the same symptoms: blind hate and strong physical mutation.
What does this sad story have to do with us?
Do you know where we are? Doris Fletcher's theater. This is where that hateful creature plotted to spread the epidemic across London.
I only briefly met Miss Fletcher once when she visited the Pembroke Hospital. You say it was to see her mother. She seemed like such a sweet and graceful woman.
My point exactly. The disease turned her into a bitter soul, driven by vengeance just like her mother. A symptom of all the infected patients.
Certain diseases are known to produce similar effects. Rabies, for example. And rabies is not the devil at work.
Come on, Edgar. Don't you see the pattern here? The epidemic, the link between Doris and Harriet, the suspicion of McCullum?
How could I? I never saw Harriet Jones again after she fled the hospital.
I'm not sure.
Doris and Harriet shared more than a hidden family bond. They were the embodiment of the epidemic and are linked to the Pembroke Hospital. Come on, Edgar,
I
this is
think
no
I see what he's
coincidence.
saying.
I swear I'm at a complete loss. All I did was administer vampire blood to cure old Harriet. There was no evil plan, no diabolical plot.
You did what?
I tested the regenerating and healing properties of vampire blood on Harriet Jones. My only intention was to find the cure for influenza, I swear.
Whose blood did you use? William Marshall's? Mine?
Lady Ashbury's. While transfusing her with human blood, humanely appeasing her hunger, I also kept samples of her blood for my research.
You used her blood on Harriet Jones? My God, Edgar, that's unethical. You betrayed 2 of your patients at the same time.
I made a mistake. But what is science if not trial and error? We both know it, Jonathan, we both know it.
What a poor justification for your morbid fascination and thirst for glory.
You have worked beside me. You saw what I'm doing at Pembroke Hospital. Jonathan, you know I'm not an evil soul. Just another victim of this tragedy.
Oh, I get a big old choice here. Oh God, I don't know. If he dies, the hospital's gonna have a real bad time. Oh my gosh. I need to think about this. I really don't want to let him die. God, okay. We'll do this.
No, Edgar, you are not going to die. Unless you want to.
What do you mean?
I can save you, Edgar. I can turn your broken body into one like mine.
You truly would? After all I've done, after all that's been said, you would offer me this gift?
I have no way of knowing which punishment would be worse, Edgar. But it is not for me to decide. So?
Oh, please, Jonathan, please. I beg you. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always searched for.
Very well, then. Prepare to die and be reborn. To face an eternity of guilt.
I'm ready. Oh, indeed, I am ready.
Well.
Enough!
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I wanted to look at the hints. Okay, I missed this hint. Somehow. I think I might have just missed talking to him at a certain point. Okay. So that happened, and hopefully the district status there won't be too badly affected. Hopefully, anyway. Okay, who's shouting like a maniac? Oh, that's him. I literally don't see anyone else. I'm hearing a voice. Oh, here we go.
It's not human! Kill it! I have it.
Oh no!
I can now open the box.
The power of the Lord commands you!
So I got the key to the box. I can go back and get that. And I assume that this is the thing that I need for the other thing. I'm also assuming that these guys just sort of spawned in. And they weren't there before, because I think I would have noticed them.
Really don't know if I should read this.
Did we get the thing? We did. Okay. Let's not read it. Let's not, because we're not supposed to for the mission. Let's go back and give this to the friend. Where am I going? This way.
Keep an eye on each other.
Yeah.
Carrier when Edgar gave her vampire blood. I must tell Elizabeth.
Yes, we'll do that. Also, I need to tell our other friend the things that I have learned. Because it's important. Hey, I think I remember how I have to tell you
Dr.
about
Reed.
things.
Still conducting your nocturnal survey?
Yes.
What are you investigating?
Well,
I was
They already
I
did
don't.
that. This.
Is it true you were dropped in rank? Tell me about it.
yes it is. I made a terrible mistake. I deserved it. Sometimes I think I should have resigned,
So why are you still working here?
because I'm a damn fine copper. I just don't want to have someone innocent hung again by mistake because of me.
Oh.
The death penalty is a great shame.
I agree. I'm convinced all civilized nations should abolish the death penalty. Maybe after the war, once that bloodshed is over, the survivors will change that.
Why do you think there shouldn't be a death penalty?
I believe no one should decide to take a man's life. Not a nation or a government.
Are you a pacifist, Inspector?
No, sir. But I believe in divine justice. Only God has the right to decide who will live and who must die.
Goodbye, Detective Inspector Albright.
Goodbye, Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Okay. Yeah, alright. Where is... I think he's up here. Maybe? Alright, he's over here. Sometimes easy to get lost in these things. Alright. Alright, come on, dude. I have your thing. Get it off of me before I accidentally read it.
Good evening, Jonathan Reed. Can I help you in any way?
I found your notebook. The one the guard of Prewen stole from you.
And you've brought it back to me. That's excellent news, Jonathan. Were you able to keep yourself from reading it?
Yes. I give it back to you untouched.
Then, my friend, you deserve a little something to reward your fortitude. Please, have this, with my gratitude.
What's in the notebook?
I can't answer you, Jonathan, since you chose not to open it.
Okay. I see.
Have you any news concerning Aloysius Dawson?
You unburdened his heart and cleared his mind. A most elegant solution, I must say, Jonathan.
How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you. The cards always tell the truth. Well, most of the time.
Is it possible to tell me my future?
A vampire's fate is much more delicate.
I thought I already saw this.
All right. Let me hear it.
You're on a path to redemption, Jonathan. But be careful. One single trip and you'll fall.
That doesn't sound promising.
Take this, young Ekon, as a personal reward for your strong will. Keep following the right path and you'll reach safety.
Okay.
Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely wander. yet it amuses me to converse with your kind. Cards never
Okay,
lie.
he gave me something in return. Origin of the Brotherhood. The name of the Brotherhood of St. Paul Stoll comes from the mythical figure of Paul Aurelian, the great Welshman evangelist of the 6th century. Paul Aurelian is supposed to have died in 575 at the age of 140 years and was one of the 7 founding saints of Brittany. According to the legend, St. Paul Aurelian used the sacred stole as a key to tame ferocious dragon and then cast the terrible beast into the sea. The saint is long gone now, but we of the Brotherhood keep his stole as a precious relic. Sometimes called the Brotherhood of the Stole or even the Stole, we are a secret society of scholars who observe and identify the presence of and activity of vampires in Great Britain, known as Watchers. The men and women of Britainhood vow to express a neutral attitude toward vampires. We believe we can be useful guides for those immortals sometimes tempted to unleash their appetite. We postulate that vampires are not evil by essence. Over the centuries, we have witnessed that some vampires are able to transcend their predatory nature to protect mortals. Great mythological or historical figures, which we know were vampires, prove that enlightened immortals might agree to protect and guide mankind through difficult ages. Above the Watchers are the legates, who represent the authority of the primate wherever they go. As such, they have the right to call for the ban of the dragon. It's an ancestral ritual only known by the primate himself, used when the time comes and proof has been gathered that another beast must be cast into the sea. The gathering and study of ancient texts are a main source of information used to understand the origin and behavior of the immortals. Recently, I decided that our legate should be allowed to travel and explore all parts of the world, to expand our field of researches. Blessed by the sacred stole, the bravest of our watchers even dare to approach and contact vampires to interview them and gather intelligence at the source. We have so much to learn and to discover. Our journey may never end, and that may be the greatest beauty of our task. Okay. Wait a sec. Look at these things. Vampire Knight. Was that what the other one I got? Yeah. William Marshall, forget the legend about the man. One the most of you have never heard of. You lazy bastards, forget the empty tomb in the temple church. Forget the death of those among us who died trying to locate him. We, the guard, know that he is still hiding somewhere. That is the only fact we must keep in mind. Another small detail we need to keep in mind, this little fucker is clever. How many times have we thought we had cornered him only to find out old dust and cobwebs? Marshall has been a vampire for 1,000 years. We're no match until we change our plans concerning this hunt. So here are a few questions for you, lazy bastards, and I want all of them answered before speaking of another great hunt to pin Leech down. Who helped him escape his den under the temple church? We know now for a fact that a private contractor was paid to move a large coffin from the church a few years before we investigated the tomb. What exactly did the traitors of the Brotherhood of St. Paul discuss with Marshall when they met in 1785 in London? The report of this meeting must have been burnt, but witnesses remain of a request made by Marshall to access a specific book in their library. Why does the monstrosity known as Lady Blackwood seem linked to Marshall? They exchanged letters. She went in London to meet him in 1786, according to the Brotherhood spies. She tried to discreetly buy his castle in Wales in 1793 before fleeing when spotted by her fearless mentor, Kendall Stone. See the pattern here? What happened during these few years? Why such agitation and inactivity? Answer these questions, my brothers, and you will find the path to our most eminent foe, William Marshall, oldest vampire of England to survive our righteous wrath. Interesting. But I think this has something to do with that puzzle, so... Like, there's 4... There's a fish, there's a circle, and then there's a diamond. A square. It's
never easy to read.
And then there's this, right here. These things. So, if we were to look at this, the square, this part here is probably where our friend is. It's the exit, sort of, and this is the upper exit area. And then there's just these, though. So what do these mean? Like, is this the order we step in them? Like, if you count the corners, or even if you count the sides of them, like, that's 4, and that's 4, and this is like, I don't know what that is, but that's, you know, 0 or 1. But I think this has something to do with this. I think. Wait, did you see that? I saw that. There's a door behind there. There is. There's a door behind there. There must be an order to this. And I don't know what that is.